Alright, we are live with some SUPERDRAFT auction. Welcome, Hester. Hester wants to get this show on the road already. Today we have one set. It is Mike versus Zark. We have Pilgrims game number 1, Northern Crossings home map from Zark, and Crater home map from Mike. And game number 1, Pilgrims. Mike has some very nice water sieves. Could go for Koreans, maybe Italians as well. Of course, Mike did spend the 69, a very nice number of coins on the Mongols. So I am sure we will see the Mongols somewhere for Mike. This is Mike's first SUPERDRAFT set. Mike has not played yet. In the meantime, Zark did play 3 sets already. These standings are live as of right now. They do not include the Mike versus Zark set just yet. But with that being said, let's get this show on the road and start off with game number 1, which is on Pilgrims. If Capture H wants to load the game as well, would be very nice. And there we go. Pilgrims in game number 1. And once again, a very weird island generation here. A very short, small island for Zark, or for Mike. And for Zark, a bit more of the rounded out island. Zark chooses to leave with every villager except for one who will make the dock. He is playing as the Bengalis. And will make their TC immediately on the first wood line. Mike plays as the Koreans and also places the TC on the first wood line he sees. However, I would say Mike, with the access to berries, having a boar nearby, might be a slightly better position here. Although both TCs can eventually be ranged from water if players go for the galley line, because there is of course now hulks, fires, and a whole new water meta. Mike leaving the 4 villagers here means that he is already chopping enough wood for fishing ship production. TC not up yet, but with first fishing ship already on the way, is getting a slight eco lead already. Also did not forget to make houses at the start, as Zark housed a bit, was forced to go for loom before going for villagers. So far from Mike, very nice start. Is going for some sheep under his TC as well. As we see Zark just scouting around with the transport, trying to see Mike has any sneaky land docks instead of the island dock, and Mike doing the same. No sneaky back docks from Zark. Now Zark is doing a nice job, is sending some sheep to scout around, has no clue where Mike is exactly. And they are relatively close. And Zark spotted a turkey, spotted the boar, and will bring in the boar. Has loom already, so not in need of immediate house tricking, as Mike already has a boar under his TC. 3 fishing ships out, 4th one on the way, just 2 for Zark, and no more fishing ships in queue. Boar shot by the TC from Zark. Also going out for some deer. We could potentially see maybe a mill on the berries, but I think that with water play, skipping the mill in favor of going for a gold somewhere might be the better option. And so far I really like Mike's position here, like the opening, very smooth. Not too much idle time, not getting housed just yet, as the idle time for Zark is going up just a little bit. As Mike captures sheep from Zark, does spot the houses here, so could potentially assume that Zark's TC is over there. Has not scouted where the dock is just yet. And I would not mind going for a loop-de-loop around the islands. So we have a house coming up for Mike, who I assume is going out for this boar with this villager. No loom yet, so we will keep an eye on that. In the meantime, another boar for Zark coming in, who has not spotted the houses for Mike yet. And villager walked a bit too far. But with that Korean line of sight, Mike can see, basically has scouted already more than half of the map. Great scouting from Mike. Very great scouting. So he's bringing in another boar over here with some palisade tricks. And I assume this villager will soon bring in the boar over here. Maybe after building another house. Although is doing a great job on not getting housed so far. Also like that more and more fishing ships are coming out, is now going out for the gold. Villager brings in the boar. Still no loom from Mike, by the way. And behind this, Zark clicks up to Feudal Age as well. A very nice palisade trick. Keeping that boar aggroed, bringing it under the TC, garrisoning, moving some turkeys out of the way. And perfect boar lore from Mike. Zark adding in that second dock, which we have seen him do quite a bit. Would not mind a second dock from Mike here as well. And as I say that, two villagers running, trying to get that dock up. Did spot the second dock from Zark, so that might just be a reaction, seeing that Zark is going for that second dock. Loom queued after Feudal Age, really like that. And is sending in more villagers to gold, which is definitely needed if he wants to produce from 2 or even 3 docks. And we will see Hulk fire opening from Mike. And Zark opens with 2 galleys. And I do think Mike will need to add in one more villager on gold if he wants to keep production of his 3 docks. Goes for the lumber camp as well. I assume that is to get the double bid axe upgrade, which Zark already is getting. Fishing ship count in the meantime 8 for Mike, 5 for Zark. And that is a villager that will not be working on that shoreline. And Zark garrisons with the fishing ships, but Fire and Hulk will deal with the galleys just fine. Fires are a bit more resistant now to the galleys, so I would not mind seeing more fires from Mike, and as I say that, more fires in queue. Although I think Mike might want to group up a few more before diving in like this, especially if he is under the... How is there 6 out of 5 garrisoned here? Zark, are you admin rigging? Once more. But if you decide to dive the docks with the fires, you might want to have a few more before you hop out. For Zark, market is coming up. There is no blacksmith yet. Mike, nothing so far in terms of market, because he does not have a mill. Is going out for the mill right now, as he is doing a great job here on water, dealing with Zark's fires. Or with Zark's galleys. The fires are doing a great job dealing with the galleys. And this woman is really living on the edge here. Really, really living on the edge. Zark is now switching into Hulks, which technically should counter the fires. Demos, of course, they don't really do that good against fires. Zark getting his blacksmith. And resources are definitely looking very Castle Age-like. Mike also did get his blacksmith, is missing his market though. And is maybe being a bit greedy, adding in one more fishing ship, maybe thinking I won water already. As Hawks come out, dealing with the fires. Mike not really reacting here, and that might be a mistake. Although he is killing some of Zark's fishing ships. Zark. Castle Age on the way. Mike brings his villagers home from the starting island. Forced to run back a bit, but I think needs to just drop a market and just attack here. Or not attack here, just wait for Zark to get the Castle Age upgrade. Might not be the greatest. I think Zark should attack here. Zark should definitely just... I'm not sure why they are not attacking. Is adding in the third dock as well, so 3 dock versus 3 docks. Although docks for Zark definitely on the weaker side currently. And Mike not patrolling in, just clicking. Loses a fire and fires very weak to the Hawks. But of course Hawks need to get close, and that is where the galley line comes in. Fletching now comes in. Market is there, and Castle Age on the way from Mike as well. Now fletching is also coming in for Zark, who is once again switching to galleys. And Mike is in danger of losing his fish. Will add in a 4th dock, so this is a really heavy water play from both players. As more galleys come out for Mike, who's doing a great job trying to micro away, keeping the Hawks at bay. Zark, medium warships, more houses, as Zark is housed currently. Idle time really even for both players. And both players doing a great job of keeping that eco running. Although Mike's eco is better because he has more fishing ships out. But villager count currently ahead in favor of Zark. And with the medium warships upgrade now in for Zark, no bodkin yet. This could technically be microed, but there is a huge difference in damage output and also in HP as the Hawks looped around for Zark. Mike forced to garrison his docks, and Mike might lose water here. I think the Castle Age timing from Zark might just be what kills Mike here in this game. Although Mike is not giving up, is going for more galleys. Will need the medium warship upgrade, and I'm checking to see if it's somewhere in a dock. It is not. And like I said earlier, I don't like that castle placement here from Mike. I think it should be more on the shorelines to potentially defend docks, but I did see medium warships just a little bit. But Mike, I think, decides I will give up on water. That will mean that he will lose this TC eventually, especially with the amount of galleys that Zark has. And Mike going for the Korean castle. And I assume we will see war wagons out very shortly. And at home, Zark did add in second TCs. No third one just yet. Did sell some of his stone. Bowsaw on the way, so Zark's eco definitely in a good position here. As we see one turtle ship, but I don't think one turtle ship is enough. Still very glad to see it though. We're trying at least make something happen. Trying to repair even, but it will not be enough, and villagers are forced to retreat into the TC as the TC kills at least one Hawk. And more turtle ships. I think at this point, yes, this is what we want to see. This is what we all want to see. And welcome in, Chipmunk. I think the Hulks were definitely the better option for Zark. Although having so many war galleys now means that he can just range everything that Mike just has, right? Like, this could potentially be ranged from here. DC can eventually go down. But with that being said, war wagons are out. And Mike will find Zark. The real question is, how much damage can he do with 2 war galleys? Third one is chilling at home. Botkin is in. No Botkin yet from Zark. And this, if Zark does not notice, could be huge damage here. I also would not mind getting a university for Mike, trying to get the... Oh, as we see Zark finally reacting. So far, 3 kills. Could be 4. Could be 4. That is 4. Can it be 5? Can it be 5? Ooh, and that is a very nice castle position here from Mike. I would like to see it a bit more forward so it also ranges the goal. Zark goes for a monastery. Does not have a barracks just yet. Did force it up here. As Mike is being very annoying, denying wood lines, going for his second TC, also going for a monastery. I think it's maybe more going for the second TC because he is losing the first one. As Mike loses one of the galleys to the TC, or war wagons to the TC, as the galleys come over. Yeah, this... Oh, don't throw your units under the castle, Mike. Zark going for a TC that is a bit further back. Mike, first thing he clicks out of the monastery, devotion. Does not want his war wagons to be converted. And is on stone very, very heavily. 23 out of his 50, almost 50 villagers on stone. So I think... if we spot this TC here, a TC here, where the war wagons are, we'll range both TCs, deny a lot of Zark's eco. But I don't think Mike has seen this TC just yet, and I love this castle placement right here. Just relentless aggression from Mike. And as we can see, Zark's eco, all of it is idle. And Zark may have to water, but does not really have to show for it on land just yet. And I do think losing a few vills here for Mike is maybe not the best. But if he can kill all the vills here, it is definitely worth it. And Zark is forced to retreat. Still has his transport ship, so could potentially just transport the villagers here out to safety to the sides. As the first starting TC from Zark goes down. And we see more market abuse from both players. Zark selling some stone and Mike immediately buying it. And so we will definitely see another TC. And Mike, I think, has his next target for the next castle here, as he's moving the war wagons into position. TC for Zark, still garrisoned. But what do you do against the war wagons and the relentless castle dropping at this point, as Zark transports over to his starting island? That is definitely the safest place he can be right now. And eco-wise, Zark not really producing anything because he has... Where did the fishing ships go for Zark? Did we just completely miss that? Where did they go? They are not in the docks. And so far, Eco KD, 12 to 12. And Zark doing a great job with migrating the villagers here. Sending them all to safety. Might be not the safest place to chop wood right now if you are under direct castle fire, as Zark loses some villagers there. And I think this might be the point where Mike needs to start looking at his own eco and, yes, get some farms, get some food eco going, and try to get that imp timing just right, as Mike even making stone walls around the gold, so Zark cannot come in to grab that later. Also going for town watch. And Mike is really looking like, where is Zark? Where is he? But, of course, Zark chilling on his main starting island. And I think this might also be the point Mike wants to transition more. Ah, here is the fishing ships for Zark. Is adding in more. Conversion comes in, so war wagon. It will not die to the castle immediately and will be healed up by the monk. Very nice conversion from Zark, as he's building a TC here in the back of Mike's eco. Mike, however, having town watch, spots it immediately, goes for another castle. The question, how many castles is enough? Currently, 5 castles. And it is definitely a very, very useless wall for the stone here, but I like the idea. I like the idea. But like I said, I think it is very important now for Mike to trying to get imp and try to get back some water control. Because if Zark reaches imp from this position, having the water, could start heading in some cannon galleons and try to get some land presence from that. And a lot of Mike's castles are rangeable from the water. I think this one might be safe, and this one, depending on if we can range it from here, could or could not be safe. Here we have war wagons versus the galleys. Not the greatest option, but definitely keeping Zark at bay here. As more villagers go down to the war wagons, we're trying to kill the monastery as well. And over here it's just a mess of some villagers, some fishing ships. And Zark really wants to start doing a fish boom. Still, Zark ahead in eco. The villager count is even, but having won the water, the fishing ships here are what are the difference here. Not sure if this is a great castle from Mike, but it is definitely a safe one, as Mike is slowly starting to expand his food eco. No horse collar just yet, so these farms will eventually expire relatively quickly. And I do like the idea of outposting, trying to see where Zark is, but I think at this point you kinda have to know Zark chilling on his main island. Or on your island even, like Zark collecting some of that stone and gold from Mike's starting island, going for a university here. And with that, we'll have the buildings to click up. No, wait, monastery went down first, so only has one of the required buildings, cannot click up, as we can see here. Horse collar comes in for Mike, bowsaw comes in for Mike. And I think at this point, yeah, adding in some TCs for Mike, trying to get his eco a bit more smoothed out, also getting a lot of map presence. Although with all the castle positions here, already has all the land map presence he needs. He's going for the relics as well. I really like that. But Zark is getting very close to clicking up. And I think it will click up as soon as the monastery completes. And bam, there we go, clicking up. And Mike, not really there yet in terms of clicking up. It's definitely in a great position for clicking up relatively soon, especially if he just sells some of his stone. But with the added in farms, 30 on food now for Mike. And I think can definitely catch up in the booming game. Even with the fishing ships for Zark. As of course the fishing ships definitely become less and less efficient over time. And I sort of agree with Hester here that the Korean keeps could be more value for less stone. Especially as we see elite skirmishers now coming in for Zark, who is making his production buildings on his starting island. So it's maybe thinking about just transporting over the skirmishers, and Mike does not really have anything against skirmishers. But if the blacksmith gets taken down before any upgrades come in, could definitely still have a chance. As more and more houses are being placed here, and with all the castles, Mike will never get housed in this game. So far, idle time for Zark, 33 minutes in a 42 game. So, not the greatest, but with all the pressure he's been under, is doing a great job of keeping up with the eco count. Chemistry now on the way for Zark, so we will definitely start seeing some cannon galleons relatively soon. Skirmishers on the way, heavy warships coming in. And Zark really playing on that water, trying to get back on land. Love for Mike to just have some more outposts like along the shoreline. He sees a lot, but here for example, just having a bit more vision, trying to see what Zark is up to. As Bracer now also comes in the blacksmith that has not been denied yet. Barracks coming up for Mike, who behind all of this has clicked up. So keeps will eventually be there. And Zark here with the castle. Mike sees it, reacts with the Korean war wagons, but cannot really deny it. Especially not with all the galleys here. Although I do like that Mike is grouping up all of his war wagons here. No ballistics for either player. And Zark here has the advantage. Needs to drop a lumber camp before that they can produce a trap. But the first cannon galleon is out. As Zark is looking to reclaim some of that land that Mike has. And Mike doing a great job of keeping Zark off of the wood line, although there is a lone villager here. And with the skirms from Zark, which currently are in a transport ship. And we're just moved over, so skirms are here. Bracer, chemistry, so they are definitely a risk for the war wagons here, as we see squires for Mike. And I would love to see traps from all the surrounding castles as the cannon galleons start taking down some of the more exposed castles. From Mike, as the elite war wagon has been clicked. No bracer, no chemistry. But we do have 4 relics. And the 5th one, where is the 5th relic? Zark does not have it. There is the 5th relic, and relic victory has actually been triggered. I completely missed this. So Zark definitely on a timer, but the monastery here is somewhat exposed. I would not mind just a castle in front, honestly, if we want to go for the relic victory here. As Elite War Wagon comes in. Bracer is now in as well. But no university upgrades just yet. And over here, Cannon Galleon, and instead Mike chooses to attack the dock. Can the Cannon Galleon range? It cannot. And the blacksmith for Zark is taken out. Castle here for Zark is being trapped down as well. Wagons versus galleys. And Mike chooses to retreat a bit with more skirms showing up. Zark really trying their best to keep this castle up as it's their only foothold on land currently. But more cannon galleons. And Zark is trying to make use of them. Like I said, this castle very rangeable from the shoreline. This one might be as well if we can get over here. But more and more war wagons showing up, more and more skirms going down. Chemistry now almost in for Mike. And I think with this castle falling, Zark not really there in terms of resources. These islands, there is some wood left. It is very, very inefficient. Could potentially take some shorefish with these villagers. As we see Elite Cannon Galleon coming in for Zark. But I don't think it will be enough. There's just no resources, as Zark currently has 3 on wood, while Mike, his eco is flying behind all of this, which honestly you would expect with this much land pressure and land control. Ballistics comes in now as well, so everything should hit. There are some elephant archers here for Zark. Could potentially make quite a few. As Mike forces the trap to go down. It's now getting thumb ring as well. Masonry trying to get more HP on their buildings. And some barracks not constructing anymore. Not sure what happened there. But these number of elephants should run away from the war wagons, especially the elite ones. And where initially it looked great for Zark in early Castle Age, having all that water control, I think it is, and as we see the GG comes in, Zark taps out and Mike takes game number 1. Great game from Mike here. Very well played. Having that first castle drop just on Zark's face. And then just keeping up the pressure with all the castle drops. I think played Koreans really, really well here. And we can see here, in terms of military, Zark's military was ahead for quite a while. But keep in mind, this was a lot of water. And actually was ahead for quite a while in terms of worker efficiency, resources collected, but eventually, of course, Mike with the relic gold, with all the relics, putting on that pressure on Zark. Just took it home. And even though Mike is apparently a very slow player compared to Zark, more efficient player because Mike does take the win and has the more efficient clicks to make that happen. So that was game number 1. For game number 2, we have either Crater or Northern Crossings. And game number 2 will be on Northern Crossings. So will we see water here, or will we see some sneaky land aggression? Let's find out as we go into game number 2. Zark playing as the Chinese, instantly getting loom, getting some villagers on the sheep. And Mike here making 2 houses. Of course, already start with a house, given you start with the transport ship. Also opens with villagers on sheep, of course. And for Zark, currently 26 seconds of idle TC time, which is to be expected with the Chinese. And is trying to do it good. Oh, that is so unfortunate that we take 2 sheeps instead of 1. We'll now go out for the wood line. Has 6 villagers under the TC on sheep, so definitely can keep that villager production going. As Mike is going for the early boar. And I don't mind that at all. Now, Italians, of course, do have the cheaper uptimes. So, could potentially make something happen timing-wise against the Chinese here. But I think if Zark can get to Fire Lancers, Mike might be in trouble just a bit. As the sheep and the deer are very far away. For Mike, has not scouted them yet. And that might also be the reason why we went for a very early boar. He's also scouting around with his transport ship. And for Zark, also doing some loop-de-loops with the transport, trying to find if Mike has a dock already. I think it might be a bit early for dock timings just yet. I would prefer to scout around your own island first, so you don't miss that dock from Mike. Coming up, as we have 5 on wood now, and I think we will see the next villager go to the shoreline, trying to get the dock up. As the boar gets shot by the TC once more. As Zark also brings in their first boar. Here is the dock for Zark. Zark actually the first one with a dock coming up. As Mike now sends his villager to the shoreline. Both back docks, so might just want to play lightly on water and do some more land aggression. Remember, you can just walk across. You start with transport as well, so you can do some shenanigans as well. Maybe transporting this scout over, right over here, for some very fast laming attempts. Although laming right now might not be that relevant anymore. As dock completes, Zark's transport just passed by, did see Mike's dock position. As for Mike, has not scouted Zark's dock just yet. It's going for a second dock, and that is a very early second dock. Now remember that for the Italians, fishing ships are cheaper. So Mike just play it either really greedy now with the fishing ships. As Mike is housed, is forced into a 3 villager house here. Might want to send 1 or 2 more to wood in this case. But I am not sure if I like the double dock this early from Mike. As Mike runs around with a scout, of course, loomed villager. And Mike chooses to not attack. Very smart. Chooses to run away instead. As the second fishing ship now coming out. And indeed, more and more villagers on wood for Mike. Will need to continue to make houses. If he chooses to produce out of both of his docks. Will eventually pull ahead in terms of eco if he can keep it up, of course. As Mike finds Zark's TC location. He finds it out the hard way. Scouts. No scout fighting. I think that is very smart from Mike. Mike might just hop in his transport here and just sails away to safety. And with that, Zark scout. Maybe some sad noises right here that he could not finish off Mike's scout. But so far, eco looking really solid for Mike as he clicks up, similar timing to Zark. Zark, 1 minute idle TC time, and Mike 45 seconds. But Mike actually ahead in terms of eco, not on the villager count, but with the fishing ships in a great position. And Zark also goes to gold, so there will be some water play here, I assume. With that being said, Mike playing it a bit greedy maybe, going for that extra fishing ship here, and might struggle a bit with production of double dock. I assume it is going to be hulks, but I would not be surprised if we see either galleys or fires as well. As for Zark, did go for the mill. No second dock, does also not know about Mike's second dock, and I like that the scout is just chilling here on the center island. As Mike just continues playing very greedy, might just try to pull off some fast castle plays here, as we have a very forward dock from Zark. Really nice sneaky dock, and Zark kept it hidden. Will produce a Hulk. Will have a very fast reinforcement. Now Mike does open with a galley, just one. Nothing out of the forward dock yet. And I would love to see some more fishing ships out of the forward dock instead of the back dock. Of course, Mike does not know if either of his docks are scouted, as we have a villager coming forward from Mike as well. And so far, one galley, one more on the way. And that is also coming out of the back dock. Also producing a Hulk, and the Hulk will be coming out of the front dock in that case. As we now have a market, and I assume we will have a blacksmith relatively soon as well. Although Zark's res, with a market coming up for Zark as well, could potentially have relatively equal castle timings. As we have two Hulks here for Zark, but with galleys being here already, might not find the damage that they would want to find. However, micro is needed as one Hulk goes down. No fletching, and for Zark, no forging, which affects the Hulks. As Mike, and thanks for the follow, Griffon King. Zark does notice the attack from Mike, as he is not microing here anymore. Mike clicks up to the castle edge. And Forwardville so far was just making houses. I think that is also due to the fact that there is no wood, because we are choosing to invest a bit more on the water fight here. And Zark here just chilling with his scout. Fire out for Mike, who wants to dock the exact same position as Zark has docked. And we'll find out that that is not possible. And with that, Zark clicks up. Would not mind seeing fletching coming in from Mike, who is going for more houses. The forward villager decided I will just fall back. Third dock now here from Mike, who was forced to micro away. Of course, has the Hulk here as well. So fires need to do some running away instead. as one fire goes down. And with that, I think the second fire will go down as well. As forging comes in, and I assume that will be more hulks for Mike. And I also assume we will see the fletching, and there it is, medium warships upgrade. Zark not too far from castle himself, but of course with the very forward dock here. I like the barracks here. So it's very, very likely going to be fire lancers here. And Mike, ooh, Mike does not see the barracks. Mike, you should have checked for a forward villager and killed it, but instead you will have fire lancers on your face relatively soon. But with Mike being on stone, could potentially just drop the castle right here. As the fire from Mike reaches here, wanting to take out the dock. No medium warships just yet, so Zark forced to keep his fires in the dock. 10 fishing ships for Mike. Zark only has 3 as he is being attacked here by the Warhawk. Warhawk apparently is in minimum range as the dock is not shooting. What first fire lancers are here? Mike did notice the barracks and walled it off. Castle resources are in. And I assume we will soon see a castle drop somewhere. I assume it will be at home. As Zark shows up with more fires. Hulks go down, and Mike just has his ships right here at the moment. Mike slowly pulling ahead in terms of eco. Drops the castle at home, indeed, on the gold, on the stone, on the wood line. Not a terrible position for a castle, I would say. As we have a fight here, more water fighting. And I think with that, the forward dock from Zark is definitely in risk of being taken out. 4 fire lancers in the barracks now. And castle does not range. I think it's just missing 1 tile. So these fire lancers could definitely start being annoying. On the other side, Mike being very annoying, sending some ships forward. Zark not on stone yet, did sell some of his stone to click up, but has a second TC, while Mike is currently only on 1, is going for a monastery and university at the same time. And the fire lancers are out, doing some dodging, doing some shooting. And I think this is it walled off? I don't think it is walled off. I think there is a hole. Yes, there is a hole. There is always a hole. And these villagers are now relatively exposed. And I think the scout from Zark might have given that away. Zark realizes, hey, this dude was just chilling there, should have been attacking instead. Should be careful to not run under the TC if the villagers garrison. Villagers instead do not garrison, just go to the other wood line. Forward dock from Zark taken out. Is patrolling the shoreline. As Mike sends some fires here, will take out at least 1 galley. Zark now making more docks. Has seen this dock from Mike. So we'll definitely try to test some fish here as well. Ballistics coming in for Mike. But his woodline here at the top being denied. He's forced to go to another woodline over here. No more production here from Zark from the barracks, as he is losing some of his warships to Mike's fires. And even adding in more and more docks from Zark. So Zark really wants to keep playing the water game. As Mike does the same actually. Mike is doing a great job of just keeping the fish relatively efficient here. Might be careful here with the villager who is really exposed. Especially with the war galley there. And Mike will just give up on this dock for now. There's now a mangonel taking out the barracks. But the 3 fire lancers and the scout still here. Mike, however, is on the way to Imp. Is getting the archer armor. Is taking out some of the fire lancers, but will lose at least 2 of his Genoese crossbowmen. As we have this dude here going for relics. Now there are 2 on each island. And Mike already collected 1. So there's 1 here and 1 here on Zark's island. And then we have 1 in the middle island. And we will see careening, we will see demolition ship. And we will keep an eye on if we have not any demos from Mike, who is now adding in his second TC. Is behind in terms of eco. Zark definitely pulling ahead, although with only 7 on food, might not be the greatest eco to keep all the TCs running currently. And with Imp, Mike does... What does Mike do once he reaches Imp? No upgrades coming in. Is going for fishing lines out of the dock. No, is not. Is going for heavy warships. I would assume we will also see a bracer. And once we mass some more Genoese crossbowmen, we could start walking across the map, or maybe even just go for a castle here in the middle. Or just transport the monk over, get that relic. Dock here did complete. Racer now coming in. No real water production just yet for Mike. But did a nice loop-de-loop. Zark currently is defending their fishing ships, although only 3 fishing ships. Mike, 10 fishing ships. And Zark might be a somewhat dangerous castle on the shoreline, but will defend some stone, some wood lines. And Zark patrolling the passage right here, and I think this might also be the direction that Mike wants to start the attack from, as we can see some outposts coming up over here for Mike. But I don't think those outposts will come up, although that being said, the galleys not attacking the villager. Never mind. Should not have said anything. Rest in peace, a woman who wanted to build outposts. Zark forced to retreat and is using the market, trying to click up. Really starting to produce on water. So is Mike. And Mike finds the castle. I think needs to go for chemistry. Does not have chemistry just yet. And as I say that, clicks chemistry. Mike definitely stream sniping here, although these games were played yesterday. And once chemistry is in, can go for the cannon galleons. As we see a million Chukonu queued up for Zark, who also built a monastery right next to the relic, so potentially no relic victory for Mike. Ooh. Monk could not get the relic, but in his final moments could see the relic. His goal was so close, yet so far away. Great raids here from Mike. Zark drops another TC, now on 4 TCs compared to the 2 from Mike. And Mike just messing up his army here. I think wants to wait for cannon galleons and then just take out the castles. Or castle. Just one castle for each player. Mike has the stone for his second castle. So could potentially drop it on Zark's face. Or just could put it defensively at home on the other side, trying to defend that way. As we see villagers, I assume, going for the middle. As the cannon galleons are now out, villagers are put on hold. So weak transport, so this dude, if he's coming forward, could be dangerous for the villagers. The villagers are out. Cannon galleons are moving forward. This ship just passing. And this is a great time for Mike to fight. We'll need to fight with everything though. This is before heavy warships is in. This is before bracer is in. This is before chemistry is in. As we have bear fights on the island while everything is happening. Castle, 3 villagers. And the scout does not care about the bear fights. Bear will go down. Fires will clean up a lot of Zarks. Water army, cannon galleons. Currently 3 cannon galleons in the mix. Zark desperately repairing, but the stone is not there for Zark. As there is now Cavalier coming in for Mike. Elite cannon galleon is in for Mike. And no armor yet on the Cavalier. And Italians, they do get bloodlines. But with no bloodlines in just yet. I think that might be what we will see next. As the cannon galleons move forward, and Mike has a commanding position in this game. And Zark is just going for galleons right now. Could potentially loop them around, try to do some water damage here, killing some of the fishing ships, but I think we'll need to deal with the mess at the front of his base first. As the castle completes, 3 villager castle. And Cavalier are out and about, looking to do some damage into Zark's eco. Relic still not collected from Zark. Does have a monk in queue. As the first armor comes in for the Cavalier. Monk healing up the villagers, which is also a noble cause, I would say. Zark has found his presence on water. 18 galleons, 17 galleons, 14 galleons. Fires really do well against these galleons. As Bloodlines now comes in, Zark patrols their galleons right there. As the cannon galleons from Mike are rolling forward, looking out to take out some houses. Monk dies before he can get the relic, and that is with the relic being so close to the monastery. As we see incendiaries now for Mike coming in, and incendiaries is one of the new techs that will give the fires some explosive damage. As Mike once again sends a monk forward to grab the relics. Has a monastery here as well. I think Mike knows how much Zark likes his relic and wonder victories. So might want to just flex on Zark, trying to get the relic countdown started again, twice in one set. With that, cannon galleons are exposed, will need to retreat. And we see Dry Dock now coming in from Mike, so his ships cheaper to produce, faster to produce. And the monk did bring the relic closer, but once again a monk dies trying to collect the relic on Zark's island. But this one is doing the heist that the other monk could not complete. There's more fires coming from Mike. And the GG is called from Zark. So, no relic countdown this game, but a very dominating performance from Mike, nonetheless. As we can see, the KD definitely in Mike's favor. Zark tried to make something happen with the forward sneaky dog, the forward barracks, but just could not find the damage that they were looking for. As Mike takes game number 2, and with that being the final set that I will cast today. And this game, Zark once again with the faster clicky clickies. Here we see a very high spike from Zark, but Mike just once again with the more efficient clicks and winning game number 2. And with that, I will try to find someone who is online to raid, and we'll send you off. And apparently there is no one live that I follow. And I think we might just raid Ray AoE, who has the title, "Life without you is empty like the Dravidian stable." And I think that is definitely worth a raid. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a very nice Saturday. And I will likely be live again on Monday, with a lot of games being played on Sunday, and tonight there are definitely some games scheduled as well. I will not be live tonight, I have other plans, and on Sunday, unfortunately, I have sets of my own I have to play. So, once again, have a nice weekend, and hopefully see you guys on Monday. Bye bye.